everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney, and I have kind of a hodgepodge of things to share with you today. Okay, so first things first. I have three things that I'm going to kind of show you and talk about. One is a challenge I just completed, one is a challenge I'm going to be taking part in, and then the third is my daughter's, the planning and where we are with my daughter's dress that she's designed. So I will probably do that one last. I'll do my daughter's dress last. So let's first talk about the challenge that I just completed. So Loopy Mabel's Closet and Rosie Sews Modern Vintage, which are both on YouTube, and I'll leave links down to their channels down below, seamstresses on YouTube, had hosted a challenge that basically they paired you up with another seamstress, and you provided your partner with 3 patterns and fabric to go with them that were just in your stash, things that you hadn't gotten to yet, that you've been wanting to sew, and then they picked of those 3 projects basically which one they wanted you to do, and then they sent you just from their stash some notions for that project, and then the challenge was to use those notions in a creative way or a fun way to create those outfits. So I was paired with Chris from Sew Notes, and she also has a YouTube channel, and I'll pop her information down below as well. And she picked for me Simplicity 8982. I think that's the number. I will pop a picture of the pattern right here. Actually, I have no idea where the pattern is. It's floating around here somewhere. But I'll pop a picture of it right here. It's easier for you to see anyway. So I bought this in a Simplicity sale from Hobby Lobby a while ago, but it's a newer one. It's like their fall pattern maybe. I don't think it was early fall. I think it was just like their fall line. But I loved the outfit that the gal has on the cover, the kind of a mock turtleneck with the big sleeves, the big cuffs with the matching knit skirt. And that is what Chris ended up picking. I gave her a couple of other options, but this is the one that she picked for me. So I will pop a picture also of the notions that she sent me. So the fabric that I had picked to go with this was the sweater knit that I got in my Sew Over It surprise box, or their fabric subscription. I tried it out last February, right after they had launched it and did their knit box. And this was one of the knits, and it's a sweater knit, and I got 2 meters of it. And I was able to just eke out both the shirt and the skirt out of this pattern. And I made, I can't remember if this came in, I think this came, I made a size 14 in both of these, which is what I wear in all the commercial patterns is usually a 14. I didn't have to do like really any major adjustments. I did have to shorten the sleeves by I think 1 inch. I shortened the skirt by 3 inches, which are all very typical for me because I'm very short. And then I did take in the shoulder seam 1 inch because right at the shoulder, and actually I didn't do it the proper way. I just made the shirt and put the collar on, the turtleneck collar on, popped it over my head so it was like a poncho almost. I didn't have the side seams or the sleeves in yet. And I just marked where I wanted the end of my shoulder to be, put out 5/8 inch from that because the pattern had 5/8 inch seam allowance, and then cut it off, and then matched that what I cut off here, I just laid on this side so that they matched, which technically changes the armhole, which should change the sleeve, but because it's knit, you can kind of get away with fudging it a little bit. And that's all I did to take in the shoulder, and it worked fine. So I put the shoulders or the sleeves in flat and then do the whole arm side seam in one fell swoop, and then I added the cuffs. It turned out so cute. So cute. So she picked this fabric for me, and then she sent me some thread, which, miracle upon miracles, I told her, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It matched perfectly. And I used it almost all for this project. So the red that she sent me was like a perfect match. The perfect like bluey red. I mean, this is a marled fabric, so it kind of works. And then she sent me a package of vintage rhinestones, and then some rickrack. And like not really a rickrack, it's just a trim. And I hopefully popped a picture of kind of my haul that I posted on Instagram of everything that she sent me. So the goal was to use all of the notions that she had sent, in addition to a lovely little note. So first I made the pattern, and I made, I think it was view C and D. So C is the shirt, and it's got these wonderful balloon sleeves with these big thick cuffs. And again, I was barely able to eke this out of 2 meters of fabric. from my Sew Over It box. Again, I shortened the sleeves by 1 inch, left the body as is. I mean, this shirt's gonna get worn a ton just because. So I made the shirt, and then I made a matching skirt. Now, because this is a sweater knit, and it almost has like a chenille feel, because this is a sweater knit, and it's gonna be kind of clingy, I did 2 things. Number one, this has elastic in the waist, so I, number one, omitted the darts in the back. There's darts on the pattern in the back, but I wanted a little bit more room for my waist. And again, it's all stretchy, but I didn't want it to be too clingy, so I just omitted the darts. You could put them in them, you could leave them indefinitely. But what I did is I put a control top skirt out of power mesh into the inside of the skirt. So this whole, it's like a really short mini skirt. And I just kind of arbitrarily picked a spot. Picked a spot down enough. I didn't want it to ride up, but kind of picked a spot. And all I did was I took a bigger chunk of seam allowance. I think I sewed this up at 3/4 of an inch seam allowance instead of 5/8, but I just used the front and back pattern piece as is. Cut it out of power mesh, and I left it unhemmed because I want that raw hem so that you can't see it through the skirt. So basically, this holds me in and then causes the rest of the skirt to skim over the lumps and bumps, which is just lovely. It also keeps things from riding up, you know, it kind of keeps things, it's slick kind of in there. So again, it's like a short mini skirt of the control or the power mesh that's in there. And then I just sewed the waistband on per the pattern instructions. And again, this took like next to no time. I mean, I find knit patterns just sew up so quickly. But yes, and I love the way it looks. So I'm gonna pop, hopefully I've been showing you pictures of me actually twirling around in this. I was able to get outside and do some footage of that. And I paired it with these gorgeous, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I found these vintage heels. They're a square toe and a block heel, and they have almost an animal print on them, and they're flocked. $4 at Goodwill, guys. I'm so in love with these shoes. They're gonna get worn so much this fall and probably winter. I do need to spray them with a suede spray or something before I wear them out. And I did have to put insoles in them because they're old enough that the inside of the insoles was just flaking off onto my feet. So, you know, the leather or pleather or whatever is in the insole of that shoe is just totally disintegrating. And I would guess that these shoes were probably late 90s, early 2000s, because that's kind of when that square toe was last in style, which would be my guess. But oh my gosh, I'm so loving them. With jeans, oh, they were such a great find. But anyway, I also love them with this. All right, and then for the pièce de résistance, I created a fashion pen. So Gucci was like big into these in the fall, or last fall, and still are. And Mimi G had posted a tutorial on how to make your own fashion pin. And I followed her tutorial online. I basically took the trim that Chris gave me and backed it with Petersham ribbon. So I just sewed it, you know, onto some Petersham ribbon just to give it a little more depth, and then followed Mimi G's tutorial. And I had this vintage button in my stash. And then I used all of her rhinestones, number one, to weight my ribbons. And then also just as like to make this a little bit more of a statement piece. And I just think it's so much fun, and it's removable. So I don't have a pin back on it actually yet. I'm just using a straight pin to attach it. I'm waiting for some to arrive. But yeah, you could wear it. I mean, Mimi G actually wears her, and you see them online and stuff, like with a button-down shirt, and this is kind of like a tie, like right there in the middle of a button-down shirt, or you could wear it over to the side, or however you'd like. It could go on a coat. But I just think it's just so fun and so pretty and unexpected and a little bougie a little bit. So yes, so that's what I did with my trim, and I think it's really fun and gives a little added pop to the whole monochromatic look that I've got going on with the skirt and the top. Whew. So that was my Sew Swap Share challenge, and that challenge has already passed, but I made and submitted that, and it was at the end of October that challenge had passed. All right, that is project 1. Project number 2, I am going to be taking part. Sew Altered Style is doing a Sew Family Jammies. I think that's the hashtag, I'm almost positive. I will put it down below though. Sew Family Jammies challenge, which basically starts, I think I think beginning of November, so maybe like this week. And it's just going to be basically whatever your definition of family is. So if it's you and a pet, if it's you and a loved one, you and your kids, whatever. It's just whatever you definition. They're being very broad with the definition of family, but you all have to have matching, you know, whatever that little group is, you have to have matching pajamas. So it's multiple sets. So I'm actually going to be doing 2 projects for that challenge. Number 1, I bought, actually for the first time, and I've heard so many pros and cons on this fabric, but this is the Doodles fabric, the cotton, basically interlock jersey from Joann's. I mean, when you stretch it a lot, the pattern does definitely get super white, but I mean, it was so cute, and it was on ridiculous sale. So I bought some of this, and yes, those are sloths with Santa hats on and stockings and candy canes. And this stuff does feel good, and it's nice and beefy, and the recovery seems to be pretty good. I bought 5 yards of it because it was on sale. I think it's normally $11.99 a yard, although why buy anything like regular price at Joann's? It was on sale for $7.99, and then I had a 20%, no, there was a coupon for an additional 40% off the Doodle stuff. And so while I was in Joann's for something obviously completely unrelated, I saw this, and my son and daughter, my son especially, are obsessed with sloths. So when I saw this fabric, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to buy some. So I just went ahead and bought 5 yards, because I think I bought 5 yards for like $20 or some ridiculous amount of money. Because again, it was on sale for $7.99, which would have been $8 a yard. So that would have been $40, but then I had an additional 40% off that. So that is an additional $16 off. So yeah, like $34, I guess. I got, is that right? I can't do math. That's not right. $24. Go back to bed, Whitney. For $24, I got 5 yards of this cotton interlock. So I am going to make the True Bias Hudson pants for both my kids. I already own the women's pattern. I'll pop pictures of both of the pattern up here. I already own the women's pattern, but my son loves cuffed sweatpants, and that's like one of the only things that I can get him to wear. So he said, yeah, he would love a pair of cuffed pants. I need to get some red, I think, to do the little trim on the pockets and to do the cuffs and the waistband. I think that would be really cute. So I'm going to be making my daughter a pair of the women's, and then I'm going to buy the men's pattern and make my son a pair of the men's in this adorable fabric. And I probably will have more left over, so I don't know what I'll do with the rest of it. Maybe for my husband and I, we may all get matching sloth Christmas pants. I actually, with 5 yards, I think I got 5 yards. I'm almost positive I did. I mean, I should be able to do a lot. And then for the second one, I am going to be making the Namaste pattern by Love Notions. We all know how I feel about Love Notions patterns, but I love sleeping in nightgowns. And so I am going to make a nightgown for myself, and my daughter was like, oh, I'd like a nightgown too, and then I was talking to my sister. Anyway, it turned into me making 5 nightgowns. I'm gonna be making one for my mom, my sister, my niece, my daughter, and myself. They will all match. And I got this fabric, again, for a very good price. It is a plaid knit from Girl Charlie. If they still have it, I'll link the fabric down below. The same with the sloth fabric, if it's on Joann's website. But I love this because none of us are really, my mom likes to wear black, but my sister and I don't. So this is a navy and red and kind of a creamy white plaid, and it is knit. And so I'm going to make the nightgown version of the Namaste pattern. Again, Love Notions, they just go all out with all the variations. So there's also different shorts, and pants variations for this pattern, but I love the crossover top. And so all 5 of us are gonna get matching nightgowns in this beautiful, very soft, and I think it's cotton. I'm almost positive, yeah, it's a cotton jersey. So there's some spandex in there. From Girl Charlie. And again, it was like $6 a yard, and I think I bought, gosh, I may have bought like 10 yards maybe, because I think each dress takes, each nightgown that had like, I don't think I needed 10, but again, the plaid, I want things to match, and I feel like each nightgown took 2 yards. Obviously my niece's isn't gonna take 2 yards, but the rest, the other 4 are all women's patterns. So anyway, we'll figure that out. And it has the full bust front. So for myself, and I think possibly my daughter, we're gonna need the full bust pieces for our nightgowns. So anyway, so excited about those. So that is project number 2, or sewing challenge number 2. Okay. I'm getting winded from all this talking. All right. Let's talk about my daughter's ball gown. So I had mentioned in my last video that our church is doing a father-daughter ball on November 16th, so we're kind of coming down to the wire. And I mean, it was one of those moments where like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I've been training for. I'm so excited to make my daughter a like formal dress. I say formal, but a nice dress. So this is for grades 7th grade through senior, so through 12th grade. With the dads. And so she came home from church and asked me if she could, if I had any of the, basically asking if I had any croquis that she could draw a dress on. And I do. And so I gave it to her, and let me show you. Within like 20 minutes, she had come back with this drawing. Again, my daughter's also very into art. So it's a blue dress. She wanted a she even wrote on here, longer in the back. She wanted a high-low hem, a full skirt, and blue, and she wants kind of a fluted sleeve. In fact, she said it could be fitted within like kind of a bell a little bit, but she wants it 3/4 because of course we talked all about it. And then she wants a sash with a flower on it. And then these are some earrings that I got her for her birthday. That's a necklace she got for Christmas last year. And then she wanted a matching well, we decided a hair clip would be really neat with some coordinating flowers to go. She's got curly hair. So I thought, you know, we thought pulling her hair back at the sides and just letting it all do its curly thing in the back, but having a clip with some of the flowers on it to go with her sash belt would be beautiful. So these were the colored pencils she was working with. She didn't really want it that blue. She wanted it more of a dusty grade blue. So we went shopping for fabric. Well, let me talk about pattern first. So again, fitted bodice with a scoop neck. She wants a fitted 3/4 length sleeve. She wants it fluted at the bottom, and then a full skirt. So I immediately thought knit obviously is gonna be the easiest to do and the quickest. Come on, there we go. So I grabbed the Tessa sheath dress by Love Notion Patterns, and that dress can be matched with any of the Sybil skirt bottoms, so you don't have to just make the sheath. You can add a waist seam in basically and put the Tessa top onto any of the skirts for the Sybil. So I'll pop pictures of both of those patterns up there. I own both of those patterns and have been wanting to do that, so it was like the perfect excuse. So first things first, I say a test dress. This is actually a Minerva Crafts make for her. So this is the Tessa top. And then I put on the swing skirt, the swing skirt bottom onto the bottom of this skirt, or for the skirt portion. We did the 3/4 inch sleeves. I made her an extra small. This pattern does this really cool, like clean finish. Instead of binding it or having the neckband, it's just a very clean neckline. And I top stitched with my cover stitch, as I did on the sleeves and on the hem. Again, this is the Minerva Crafts make, and this fabric I can pop below. It's a scuba, and I love this for winter because it is insulating, and she loves the scuba. I made her a scuba dress last winter. She wears it all the time. So this will be a good winter dress. She's got some cable white fleece-lined tights or leggings kind of that look really cute underneath it. In fact, I'll pop a picture of footage of her wearing the dress here. So we were able to pinpoint that we need to lengthen. She has a very long torso. That does not come from my side of the family. It's all my husband. She has a very long torso, so we're gonna have to lengthen the bodice by, I lengthened it by 1.5 inches. We maybe could have gone 2 inches, but I was scared of getting it too long. But we lengthened the bodice by 1.5 inches after I made this one, which will make the skirt a little bit longer. So this is the base pattern that we're going to use. I'm going to very easily hack this sleeve to create a fluted sleeve, and then I'm going to have I'll show you the fabric in a second, but the under part of the skirt will be the regular length hem, and then the front of the dress will have this length of hem, and then I will just make it longer in the back so you get the high-low hem effect. So I'll kind of tell you what we're thinking. So anyway, this was the practice dress we made, and hopefully I'm popping some footage of her in that, my headless daughter. Okay, so we went to Joann's, and obviously end of summer, they had a whole bunch of these bouquets on clearance for like 90% off or something ridiculous. And I think it was normally like a $25 for this, I mean, a very pretty little bouquet, but I think I paid like, I don't know, $6 for it, maybe $5, something like that. It was not much. So she loved the colors. She said, yes, those are the colors she was thinking of. Her earrings she got for her birthday are kind of this sagey green that are in here. And she also loved the different texture. You've got like a little succulent in there that she wants to use. And then she liked the purpley pinky of the flowers. And then again, kind of this dusty blue. So this was the color scheme she wanted to work with. And I thought, well, this will be perfect because I can pull all these fake flowers out of this little bouquet and we can put it onto a belt and on a hair clip and maybe even a purse if I get real adventurous and want to go that way. So then we went to fabric and we found this. It's a knitted lace, but there's not a ton of stretch, but this gorgeous lace, and she loved it. So we're gonna do the dress, and this lace, again for reference, it goes with that blue about perfectly. And we're gonna underline the entire body of the dress just in some ivory rayon. So obviously for modesty. So we're gonna leave the rayon and it's gonna be just the same length. The hem is gonna be the same length all around. So we'll underline the body of the dress. We're gonna leave the sleeves, just the lace. And then the skirt in the creamy rayon will be just a straight hem all the way around. And then the lace will be, actually have the high-low hem because you'll be able to see the back of the lace, which is fine, but I didn't wanna see the rayon. So we're gonna have the rayon skirt is just gonna be the same hem all the way around, and then you'll see the back of the lace with the high-low hem of her dress. And then they have this faux stretch suede at Joann's that feels like butter. It's so wonderful. I bought some in brown to make myself a blazer. I got 2 yards of it because it was on sale, and then I had an additional coupon. But we're gonna do her sash, her belt, out of this. And then, again, some of these flowers will be going onto the belt that will go, and make it very simple, like a snap belt. Again, this is stretchy, so we can have some play around with that. There it goes, stretchy that way. This stuff is beautiful. If you haven't been to Joann's lately, they have a ton of colors. I mean, look, what else can I make with this stuff? It feels like chamois, but it is a stretch suede, and it is just feels like butter. But we got it in this sagey green. So that, again, that'll just be a belt. That is the colors we're working for. And then she wants some, we want to see if we can find some shoes in this purpley pink color. We'll see. I was told her she could get a little bit of a heel, maybe like a little block heel of some sort, not very tall, because she would fall over. But anyway, that is the plan for her dress. Again, this is a knitted lace, but it's not overly stretchy. So I think I may put a zipper in the center back just so, you know, it's comfortable and she can get in and out of it. Because there's not a ton of stretch. And what stretch there is, it's not great recovery. So I'm thinking I'm just going to stick a zipper in the back so it's easier to get on and off. I think it'll be fine to wear the bodice, but yeah. So yeah, that is her dress. And again, we started with, this is the picture she drew for me. So we will see how it compares to the finished dress. And I mean, the whole shebang is on November 16th. So next week, you guys will be seeing the finished dress. Unfortunately, I have to go back home this week for a funeral. I have a childhood friend that unfortunately passed away. And so I am headed, cancer sucks. I am headed back to my hometown this week, kind of last minute, but this dress I'll be working on definitely next week and to get that finished in time for the ball on Saturday. So I realized I had nothing in my closet. Crazily enough, that was funeral appropriate. So this past weekend, I whipped myself up a navy blue shift dress. In fact, it's the Oya dress by Itch to Stitch, but I omitted the grommets from that. And so I'll share that with you guys next week maybe and kind of show you what that looks like because it turned out really cute. And I used leftover fabric from a jacket that I had made, so I actually have kind of a little suit if I wanted to. But that's all I've got for today. Friday, I actually have some festive sewing for you. I know it's early, but 'tis the season. When you're sewing and making things for yourself, you got to get started early. So that'll be going up on Friday, and then I will see you guys again next week. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye.